have you been studying this movement? Okay, brand new. You've heard the piece probably, because it's like really popular, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know when he wrote it?
1957.
Right, not long before he died.
Yeah.
He wanted to write some wind music before he died, and he did that until he didn't get the bassoon one done, right? So is there anything you want to focus on in particular?
Just I guess just us unifying and meshing well.
Right, and what's the character you're going for? What's the feeling the audience is going to get?
Probably more French, give and pull,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But and it's interesting that it says allegro and melancholy, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a kind of a funny sadness, right? Yeah, Poulenc plays a lot between sardonic and wit and sad, and that's so we're sort of playing with those ideas. That's right. Okay. Take it away whenever you're ready. is one of those pieces you play throughout your whole life. There's so many things to play with. Let's pick like one thing to look at, okay? What does that marking 3 after 15 mean? Do you know what that means? In both parts?
To keep the tempo like to keep it without slowing down, without going.
It looks like that, but it's kind of the opposite. It means, it literally means it's sans rigueur. It means without rigor. So it means cool it. You can relax a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like without slowing down, but it actually means the opposite a bit. It means it's the opposite of rigorous. That's something that's interesting. Poulenc often does interesting markings, as you know from his other chamber music. Anything in the piano part that you're thinking about? Nothing in particular? Okay. So we have this ba da 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 da, right? And a lot of times the flutist or the pianist has a ba da 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 da, and the other person's not playing. So that implies if you're just playing alone a pickup, ya da 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 da. It implies you could take time, which you did very beautifully sometimes. And I thought sometimes you could maybe do the same. You could do a little bit more. You know those spots where Poulenc just leaves it open, the pianist isn't playing, and the woodwind player is just a little bit free. It's kind of a message, take some freedom. Ya da 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 da. And I thought sometimes you could do more of that. And that's something that we can pick up from listening to, 15 different recordings and see what other people do and think what seems to be successful. I'm a big fan of stealing what works. And when there's a lot of recordings, well, go steal what you like, Somebody worked on it for many, many hours, right? And that's what they came up with. That's a 55-year-old person who plays the oboe, the flute. Steal their ideas. It's a flattery. So go forth and steal. Let's look at this theme. Isn't it interesting? The way it begins. Could you play that for us?
Yes.
And we're thinking about 4 quick notes. First note, second note, third note, fourth note, arrival. What's going on? Okay, just the flute. Thank you. You're wonderful. I love it. Let's just hear that again. Let's just examine this. What's going on here? Let's just hear the flute. So beautiful. Yeah, bravo. What notes are you thinking about the most?
Probably the E natural and the lower E natural.
Right.
And then leading into the D sharp.
Mm-hmm. And as you may know, the flute high E, it tends to be a little sharp, or a lot sharp. And the low E is not a strong note. So the flutist is like thinking, how can I wrangle that so it's all perfect? That's exactly right. That's smart to pay attention to that. So play it again and show us that. You're doing that really well. And now, what would it be like to have the E be fine, but cool it a little bit on the first E, and get really interesting on the B, the second note? Can you think about that for a second? What's it like if ba-da-ba-da-bum? What if it's ba-da-da-da-dum? What if you get really interested in the second note? What would that be like? Can you show us that? So you play the E, but then get really interested in playing an interesting B, second note. Yeah, play with it a little bit, so it's the same but different. Try it again. Yeah, show us that B natural. Again, just experiment a little bit. What do you notice?
I'm going through an embouchure change.
Oh.
So it's like
We're just experimenting. We're
Yeah.
just being scientific. Yeah, just trying new things. Yeah. And now, what would it be like if you show us the fourth note as really interesting? That's interesting, isn't it? Oh, that's interesting. What if you show us the third note is particularly interesting? So we have the E, and the B is interesting, and the G does something with the color. And then you continue. What would that be like? experiment. That's a fun experiment. Should I get, there you go. Yeah. So this is something, are you in the habit of doing this? It's just one of those great practice tools because everybody plays when you have ba-da-da-da-da, everybody's going to pay terrific attention to which two notes. The first one and the last one, right? It's just what we did. So it's like, okay, you're fine. You're going to get the first one fine. And you're going to get the last one fine. What about the second, third, and fourth ones? How can we decide what to do with those? There's choices to be made. They are passing tones, you could say, but they're thematic in this case. What's that feel like to play with those ideas? What does that feel like to you?
It feels like more freedom. Like I can try different things.
Right! So just by not focusing so much on rubato or playing slow or whatever, you can just focus on interest and color. And by focusing on interest and color, the rubato kind of happens naturally. And you might do it differently every time you play it, because you can do anything you want because you've experimented with that. And it happens so many times in this movement. Sometimes you want to do more slower tempo, sometimes more. But you have all kinds of elasticity. You've got 17, 18, 19 different ways of playing that theme, don't you? By exploring the color possibilities of all of the notes, especially the inner notes. Okay, and now if you could play the beginning there, so look at this part. What's right there at the beginning?
From the very beginning?
Yeah, the very beginning is great. And just show us your ideas. Okay, and find your partner. Show her where you are. And you've got the G, E, G. Can you play that for us in the second bar of 3? Good. So that's the flute telling you, I need more help from you. The flute's a very good teacher, right? You don't need me. The flute's teaching you there. What's the flute telling you when the notes don't quite come sparkle the way they need to? That's the flute telling you something.
Well, I was using the harmonics to get that fast because it's so fast. But
Is it?
I can.
What if it wasn't quite so fast?
I can try and play the regular fingers.
Oh, that would be interesting. Let's try it. Yeah, it sounds super fast to me, and the piano's not playing, right? So as an experiment, what would it be like if you just played longer notes and as we were doing before, as you were doing before? See what's that like there? How about ya da 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 da? Ya da 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 da. There you go. Then the flute saying thank you. That's the flute saying thank you. That isn't that nice?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that with the regular fingerings?
Yes.
So you have time to do those, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that feel okay?
Yes.
Okay, let's try that with the piano. Hi. Wanna do 3? Is that okay?
Right.
Wiggling fingers don't play our instruments well. It has to be singing, you know. Just sing it with your voice once. Can you go more on the third and fourth? Sing from the bottoms of your sheet. Yeah, gotta get the whole body going. There you go. That's it. Yeah. you do that with your voice inside. So it needs to be more spread out. Yeah, just obey the flute. The flute will tell you. The flute knows.
Sorry.
What's it like if you just finish and then just take the time. Just be more generous. Just be generous. You have time. There you go. Yeah. Remember what I said about don't let anything on the page push you around? You feel me? That was pushing her around, wasn't it? She's like, oh my God, I have to play fast. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. It's not pushing you around. You're driving this bus.
Yeah.
You are in charge of this situation, right? Yeah, so you could show us. That's right. That's right. You're doing it. Play that again. Show us. Take even more generosity and license. Get your feet. Get your feet. There you go. Fantastic. With piano? Yeah. That's the idea. To unpack that idea, and all of us can use this, right? I think maybe it's true the flute has more of these kinds of passages than others, but we all play these passages. So to second note, third note, fourth note, phrasing, he's asking us to take time because the pianist is not playing. And then, you know what, when you do play, it's so fresh because it's quick. But a lot of them can be, for these you just need it to be put slower because the flute needs your help to speak, right? Yeah, the flute is wonderful. You sound beautiful, by the way. Your tone is so beautiful. Isn't our tone beautiful? Very beautiful. Wonderful too. So let's see. So another idea that's different in this movement, again, something that recurs a lot. When you, at the beginning, like, what's going on? What are the trills about? What are the trills about?
Keeping my head above water. I'm joking. I guess it's more so like kind of this feathery, French, like just giving and taking a little bit. I don't know, like expressive, but at the same time, it's kind of just like light and airy, like kind of like feathery.
Okay, let's hear the piano part of one. It's marked dolce with lots of pedal, right? Let's hear the piano part by yourself, the beginning. Let's hear that again, and we'll imagine the flute part because you all know it too, right? So let's try it. Together on a new thing. So it's kind of one idea, and then she's continuing the same exact thing, isn't she?
Yeah.
And you do something else. So let's try if you fit in with her to keep it just dolce and singing and smooth,
Yeah.
and maybe a long line, not so, maybe longer line. Let's see what that works. Let's try it. Little jokes, because we know Poulenc likes jokes and being ironic and sardonic. So what's if you just suddenly start to disagree with your partner? What's that like? If you're suddenly very different, what's that like? But suddenly joking. What's that like? Yeah. And prefer? Who likes it keeping it the same, dolce and feathery? And who likes it with suddenly a little joke? Okay. Yeah. I'll fight to the death your right to do it either way. What do you think?
I like the joking part.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like super jokey.
Yeah.
But we know that Poulenc's playing with those things. So that's a question to ask yourself. There are these sudden changes, right? And it'll give you a lot of courage if you're thinking, funny little joke, funny little joke, funny little joke, rather than I'm going to try to play this well, I'm going to try to play this well, I'm going to try to play this well, right? It's kind of like the body thing. The problems just kind of go away, right? So show us the beginning and be like, ya da 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 da, you know, just like it's funny stuff. It's funny. Get your feet under you. You know, there's a lot of quick changes in Poulenc, aren't there? You must have been fun at parties, don't you think? Let's try it again. There's a lot going on. That's interesting, right? You'd want to have lunch with this flute, you know? It's a really interesting flute. It's got a lot to say. Right? One more time from the beginning, just playing with those ideas. Get your feet under you. We need the second note. We need the second note. Remember the second note. Show us the second note. Big little solo, like 3 before, pick up the 2 before 2. I'm wondering what it would be like if we just suddenly take over there, very soloistically imitating her ideas. Can you show us a couple bars before that and show us what you might be, more colorful sound and more rubato? Just as an idea. Yeah, and I'm not saying do it the same way. You can do it in many different ways. But that's just a spot where you have the spotlight to really emerge as a soloist, right? And have a little bit more fun, maybe. What's that feel like to you? Yeah, like she's been having all the fun with that theme, right? And you finally say, look, wait a minute, I want to try that. Let me try that. Take over. Exactly. She supports you. Can you do rehearsal 1? Pick up the rehearsal 1, and then when the piano comes out before 2, it's so exciting. Pick up the rehearsal 1. Get your feet under you. play with these ideas. Cool. Another thing to play with is your sound is so gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and it's so fun to play with the gorgeous. Imagine how great it feels to play that way, right? Careful about being too gorgeous. It's easy to be too beautiful, and sometimes if you get, to be making sure that every long note, because long notes make themselves important because they are long. So we don't need to sex them up too much. You can, but be judicious. So so it's just a choice you make, right? You do play super beautifully. Sometimes it's interesting to play a little less beautifully, right? Yeah, if you're just beautiful all the time, it's not quite as interesting. If you're more pale or more spare here and there, just an idea. I'm not saying anything about what you're playing. It's an idea. It's an idea. Thank you so much.